Welcome to Leaders on the Rise. I'm Lydia Pierre, founder and CEO of Pierre Branding Group. We help create stories that resonate with audiences to forge unforgettable, unique brand experiences. These stories ultimately become infused with all aspects of the client's branding, thereby turning entrepreneurs into media celebrities by growing their authority and helping them build partnerships with top influencers. We believe that every person has a unique message that can positively impact the world. Stick around to the end of the show. We'll reveal to you how you can be our next guest in 15 to 20 minutes. Let's go. Hello there. Welcome to Leaders on the Rise. We are here with my amazing guest, Arthur Revechkis. He is the founder of Zakuska Vodka, which is a shooting vodka, specially made for celebrations and great occasions, so that when you want to celebrate some great, phenomenal aspect of your life, you want to think of this vodka, right? So
that's exactly right.
Yeah. Absolutely. So welcome, Arthur. How are you? Tell us about yourself. Tell us about who you are and what you do.
Oh, I love your energy right now. I'm doing well. Things are good. I'm hanging out in Maine for a couple days here, just seeing some trees and stuff. But I live in Brooklyn. I've been working on this vodka for about a year and change. Kind of really started during COVID and lockdown, where I was bored out of my mind, as I'm sure a lot of people were. But some background: I was born in Russia. Big vodka drinking community. In Eastern Europe in general, and we immigrated to the United States when I was about 8 years old. My family, we moved to Washington Heights, lived there for a little while. Then we moved to Jersey, lived there for a little while, and then since graduating college, I've lived in New York City, mostly in Brooklyn. So this vodka kind of was born out of that, spending a lot of nights at my parents' dinner table, watching them hang out with their friends, sing songs. My parents were both very, very musical. My mom went to college for music, and my dad put on plays and played music and stuff. So dinners would involve, a lot of jokes and stories, and then singing songs and doing shots of vodka to sort of, punctuate events and celebrate events. So that's kind of a quick origin story.
That's awesome. And I know you talked about how they're into music, and I see that you're also a musician as well.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I just finished a record, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So is that one of those things that help you? Because when I think of vodka, I think of celebration and all of that. I mean, of course, you're usually in a nice lounge or in a nice place, and you're with your friends and you're shooting. And so what kind of music would you say is playing if you had to? Like, is it some of your music in the background? Like, what would that experience be?
No, I usually get creeped out when somebody puts on my music. I don't like being in the room, like it's hard to kind of listen to yourself, or at least I have a hard time doing it. But I don't know. I usually like, lounge kind of music, either jazz or hip hop. When it's sort of at somebody's house and somebody's playing piano, it's kind of like singer-songwriter kind of music, or my dad sings a lot and is super, super good at it. And he writes songs as well. So he'll, either play one of his old songs or like a song like from his childhood. So it's that kind of vibe.
That's awesome. And I'm sure vodka would fit into that setting, of course, as well.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah. The thing that's awesome about shooting vodka, if I can get off on a little tangent here, is it's like the ultimate drinking together. Right. Like if you and I are hanging out and you're having, a cocktail and I'm having a glass of wine or something, like, yeah, we're in the room and we're drinking, but like, we're not really drinking together. We're kind of drinking our own thing at our own pace. Whereas with a shot of vodka, especially an ice cold shot of vodka, if you and I are hanging out, then we would sort of, clink glasses and we would drink the same vodka at the same exact time at the same pace, like it's much more of like a symmetry there that I think has like a real impact on like the interactions that all the people are having, which I think is just a very special thing about it.
Right. And it's all about connection, right? It's like you get to
That's connect. Exactly right.
Yeah. I mean, and even when I think of the word spirits, right? And that's what we call liquor and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a connection that it has when it comes to the spirit aspect, right? So being
Yeah.
able to celebrate with someone that you really, especially those momentous occasions, and to be able to share that special moment with someone who's maybe a kindred spirit or something in that moment.
Yeah,
In that
for
moment, you
sure.
connect with each other, right? And on a deeper level.
Absolutely. And you make eye contact. And
Yes.
I don't know if you've um, done much reading about like body language and stuff like that, but there was a point in my life where I was very into it. And I read a couple books about it. And sort of the common thread through all these books is that when human beings tend to like each other, they tend to mirror each other's physical movements.
Right.
So if you notice people that are very, very close to each other, they'll like do very similar physical things. And when you have people that just meet each other and they start to like each other. So I think there's something very real about like, lifting the glass up at the same time, and clinking it and drinking at the same time, putting it down at the same time, like that physical motion of doing it together, making eye contact. I think that has like a real sort of bonding thing that happens sort of innately,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
It's a bummer that I feel like shots have kind of been hijacked by like fraternities and younger kids, and to be kind of like this idea of binge drinking, because that's very much not the world I grew up in. It didn't have anything to do with binge drinking or like trying to get drunk. It was more of like a kind of like a punctuating special moments kind of thing. It was like the exclamation point at like the end of some evening that's celebrating a holiday or a birthday or somebody's awesome achievement, whatever it was, or whatever, or just Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I definitely agree, because the art of the cheer is kind of a
Yeah.
lost, it's become like a lost art form, especially with social media and everything. People will it can kind of become diluted in a sense. And
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
vodka in itself is a vodka that you shouldn't dilute, because it's something that, because of the flavors and the experience and the
Yeah.
whole, yeah, you don't want to dilute the entire experience, right? So
For
which is part of
sure.
the reason why
Yeah.
you don't want to really mix it with any cocktails, correct?
That's exactly right. So for those interested in a little bit of history here, in general, vodka is kind of a grain neutral spirit, which means that you know the gold standard is for the vodka to have as little taste as possible, be as clean as possible, and that's kind of been the majority of Eastern European vodkas that are made from like wheat and potato and those kinds of things, rye even. But the this vodka is a little bit different. This vodka is made from wheat and corn. It's made from wheat in Ohio called red winter wheat, which just sounds really cool. I don't. I was just very excited about that name. But the other really special thing about this vodka is that it's unfiltered. So the trend in vodka for the last, I don't even know how long, has been to distill vodka, 100 times and filter it 100 times over crystals and charcoal and like all sorts of things to try to get that sort of very clean, tasteless spirit. I remember listening to an interview with Dan Aykroyd. I don't know if you've seen the Skull vodka in some stores.
Yeah, yes.
Have you noticed that? Yes. So that's Dan Aykroyd's vodka. And he filters his vodka over crystals. And I remember there was an interview with him where he's talking about why he does that. And he essentially said, I don't know. There's no like real point. And like there's so much, I don't know, silly marketing stuff around it. But this vodka is unfiltered. And the benefit of that is that it retains flavor and taste. So this isn't, for better or for worse, this is not going to taste like a regular vodka. I will send you a bottle once I have a bottle in hand, so you'll be able to understand this. But it has like a real flavor. It has a real smell. It has a lot of natural sweetness. It's a super, super pleasant shot. And quick side note, in general, shots aren't standardized, whether it's 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces or 1 ounce. I really like 1 ounce shots. I think anything more than that is just way too much liquid. And plus, you get to do more if it's 1 ounce. If you're doing
Right.
2 ounce shots, that's a very early evening, I feel like. Yeah, so right. So this vodka is unfiltered. You keep a bottle in the freezer. And when you're celebrating something cool, you have a friend you haven't seen in a long time, and you want to catch up, and you want to have that moment of bonding. And this is the one to do that with.
That's amazing. And I think that's a great way to really, like you said, punctuate a momentous occasion, and to be able to have a designated vodka that you're able to do that with. Because
vodka for me is it like you said, it's usually that real, it tastes like nothing to me.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like nothing.
yeah,
And I guess that's why it's good to mix in drinks and such. But
for sure.
I do prefer to have an experience when I drink or if I shoot something. I definitely want it to feel as if something is happening, like there's some kind of a party in my mouth, kind of like the same as you would with
Yeah,
wine and you're kind of just enjoying it
yeah, yeah.
and
It's
kind
a
of like that.
process.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like yeah, when this vodka isn't geared for like, I don't know, early 20s people, right? Like this vodka is geared for people who like are adults and know how to drink and like enjoy alcohol um in a different way than you would when you're just trying to feel, a certain way. Um yeah, and like there's an element of like ceremony about it, and I have these like really 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 cute sort of egg cups that are aluminum
Okay.
that I drink it out of. And what's really nice about it is when you take the bottle out of the freezer and you pour it into these aluminum cups, the cups immediately frost over
Ooh.
like on the outside, and it's just like it feels very cold, and like it's just like a pleasant experience all around, and you have some snacks there and you have some music going. It's it's a real treat. I love the thing so much, which is why I wanted to do it. um uh I suppose if I didn't, there would be no interest in it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's a passion, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very much is.
And it's an art form, and of course with you having your musical background, you understand that there's the importance of art and the artistic nature of
Yeah,
experiences and doing things. So this is not just like you said, not something just to get drunk. It's about the art form and about
yeah,
appreciating and all of that. So talk,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, so talk to us about some of the traditions that led to you wanting to create and capture this experience in the bottle, essentially. So I know a lot of it goes back to how you were brought up and your family, but talk about the
Yeah.
European aspect, like you mentioned about the Eastern European drinking culture and how the modern day trends have kind of influenced that or enhanced it or maybe diluted it. Talk to that a bit.
Yeah. So there's this old thing that used to happen back in the day, like when Russia was a communist country. When my dad was, 19 or 18, I remember he would tell me these stories, and and I'll preface this by saying that I'm sort of romanticizing this idea, which I have a tendency to do with a lot of things. But um, so what would happen is vodka would be sort of issued to people, and they'd have to pay some amount of money for it. And what would happen is, because individual people would have trouble affording a whole bottle on their own, you would have people who, if they were in the mood to drink, they would sort of stand outside a liquor store and they would hold two fingers on their chest. And those two fingers signified that they were looking for two other people to split a bottle with.
Oh,
So let's say I was walking by and I saw somebody standing there, I would stand next to them, and you could be complete strangers. I would go stand next to them, and then that person and I would hold one finger on our chest, signifying that we're waiting for one more person. We find our third person, who's called a Troika, which is just another word for three. And the three of us would pool our money. We would buy a bottle of vodka. We would go hang out somewhere, whether it's whatever, somebody's apartment or a park or something, and chill and drink this bottle of vodka, and then go about our day or whatever it is, right? So you have these sort of three people come together who are relative strangers, hang out for a day, become best friends for a couple hours over a bottle, and then go about their day. I was always really, really into that story. I love the idea of like random strangers becoming like friends for a minute. Um, so that was like a real thing that happened, because right, and it comes from a place of poverty and some negative things, obviously. And like I said, I'm definitely romanticizing the nice parts of it. But that's a thing that would happen when my dad was younger. And I think as it's evolved now, I've been back to Russia one time since we immigrated and left. And honestly, drinking culture was like seemingly similar to what it is here, especially among younger kids. I'm not sure, as far as like my parents and their friends and their families, it's pretty much stayed the same as it was when we first immigrated. It's people around the dinner table having some snacks, having some food, sharing stories. Um, having vodka when somebody has something like funny or poignant or touching or sweet to say.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what it's always been. The label for the bottle actually has my dad and my mom in it. Like it's like a scene. Um, I'll send it to you after we jump off the call. Sorry, I didn't send it before. And yeah, my dad is a bartender and my mom is sitting at the bar, which is not dissimilar from how they met when they were young.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I know you said you were romanticizing it, but I really think that when you think about luxury, you think about a lot of the things that we do today that are considered luxurious, a lot of it started from poverty and it's just been enhanced. Like eating lobster.
Yeah.
Lobster is the, even lobster in itself wasn't a delicacy before. It was something that poor people ate. And now it's all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's a very good call.
Yeah. Even in my culture, because I'm Haitian, and in my culture, a lot of the foods that used to be seen as something that poor people ate are considered delicacies now. And it's a fortune to get to. So
for sure.
So even with that story that you were telling about how people were able to split the bottle and just the idea of strangers coming together, I mean, that's a representation of everything that you're saying about what it means to be able to take a shot and that synergy and that chemistry and that connection that you're building, right? So I see that, especially with the brand that you're creating, I see that that's a great way to position it and trying to recreate those moments where strangers can come together and enjoy people and enjoy each other and share that moment and connect in that way. I think that's an amazing way to, that's like changing the world one drink at a time.
I love
one
that.
shot at a time, because I mean, with so many stressful things going on. And when you think of drinking, a lot of times you want to associate it with just the good nature of just having a good time and just being around good company and to be able to just relieve some stress and some tension. So to be able to, and a lot of times people go to bars by themselves. So I don't think
there's a time and a place for all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. And I don't think it's so far-fetched that to see two people who are at the bar who don't know each other take a shot together. And maybe they do that sign and they know they're looking to take a shot with them. And then it becomes like this new thing that's associated with your vodka where people just know if they're in the bar, right? They go like this, like, oh, he wants to do a shot. 2 shots, please.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be a really, really fun thing to try and bring to Brooklyn.
Yes. I mean, and that's what it's about. It's about really kind of, I guess you could call it like a throwback, but just kind of just going back into what makes us who we are and just seeing how we can modernize it and bring it back and make it just a little bit more sophisticated and create an experience around it that we can all call our own and kind of do a callback to who we were and how we've evolved over time. Yeah. It's all about,
Yeah. So this is kind of, just to ask you a question, this is kind of what you do, right? Like you kind of build brands and like find ways to give them identity and like that kind of thing, right? Like that's kind of what your like main thing is.
Yes. And we love doing it here at Pierre Branding Group. I mean, for me, it's more about the journey. It's about taking people, because it's not just about selling the product, but it's about inviting people on the journey with you. Of course, with that in mind means you're on your own journey as well. So with us, it's about making sure that the client is having just as much of an experience as the people that they're selling to, because it's important that you enjoy what you're doing, because essentially, especially the way the new norm is now, people buy from people they know, they buy from people that they relate to, and they buy into your experience. That's what branding is. It's about what it is about your story that you're telling that makes people relate and connect on that level so that they can support and buy into whatever it is you're selling. Essentially, that's kind of what we like to do here. We want to make sure that you first are tapped in and tuned in and really enjoying the experience and the story that you're creating, because when you tell it, then it sounds different now that you understand why you're telling this story. Because because of the reasoning behind it, because of the experiences you had, because of that story you just told. Now, when you tell it, other people get on board. They're like, wow, that's amazing. I want one. Sign me up, know?
I hope it resonates that way. Yeah.
So that's the idea. So yes, that is what we do here. And we love doing it. We love being able to help people on their journeys and help them to really help bring other people on that journey as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really good at it. I mean, I get the sense that your brain kind of naturally works that way.
It's kind of funny that way. Yes. It's like people will tell me their stories and it just kind of, it's like I just connect the dots and it just all comes together like, oh, this is how you can do it. Like you pull this, you pull that, and then there's your story. And that's what branding is. Branding is telling a story. And we're just trying to really get that messaging out there. So
I feel like I'm getting a free branding session.
Well, I hope you're enjoying it.
I am. I am taking notes.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point. I mean, the idea behind even this podcast is to not only help our guests, but also our listeners to be able to understand a little bit more about how you got to where you are as a leader. And that's why it's called Leaders on the Rise, because we all have that part in us that's trying to dominate an area or an industry. Something that we see is missing, that we're trying to fill that void. And again, a story we're trying to tell through that while we're trying to solve that problem or fill that gap or void. And with yours, I feel like what you're trying to do is bring back the art form of shooting and really like the authenticity behind it and what it really means. So what's going to need to be done is you need to tell the story behind why that's important. Why, when you do a shot, like, I think it was amazing how you were talking about the connection and how the difference between shooting a shot with your friends and just drinking cocktails. Like, because everyone's having their own experience when they're drinking a cocktail. Like, you might have a Bahama Mama, I might have a Long Island. It's a whole different thing. And we might share each other's drink, like, oh, taste mine, it tastes good. But it's not the same as us having the same experience, the same time, looking in each other's eyes, because God forbid you take a shot and you don't look the person in the eye while you're doing it, right?
Oh, no, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Then you got to tap it on the table and then take it. So
and it's so interesting how like everyone kind of knows that, right? Like, I grew up in Russia, your background's Haitian, like, and we both have come to that same conclusion that you better look the person in the eye. Like, don't be weird. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that people have passed on. And that's why I don't think it's also not far-fetched for you to bring back that origin story you talked about the fingers. And that becomes something that's associated with your brand, where now people know, when you see me at the bar doing this, I'm looking for someone to do the shot with me.
Yeah. I want some company. Yeah.
I'm looking for companies. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah. Doing that. I feel like that might be a really fun promotion to do at some point somewhere. Anybody wants to buy somebody a shot, it's on us.
Right. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, and again, it's just all about really connecting with people, because again, that's the story behind it, being able to create an experience that helps people to connect, because we're all looking for connection, especially with what's happening with the pandemic and all of that, and us having to be in the house all the time. And now it's like we're learning all over again how to reconnect with people in a different way, in a new normal, in a new space. I mean, like, we're talking on this interview virtually, right? And this is becoming the new normal. Once upon a time, this is like, oh no, if you're not in a studio and you're not with lights and a lot of cameras, you're not really doing anything. But now you're sitting in your car talking to me and we're doing a whole interview.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the new normal. So
there are definitely benefits.
So there's a lot of benefits to it. So this is a great time to really take advantage of that and create another new way of connecting, another new way of taking shots or celebrating moments and creating new moments to celebrate and things like that.
For sure.
This is a great time. This is a great time to do it. And I mean, you came up with this concept during the pandemic, so it's also fitting.
Yeah.
So that goes into the story as well.
Yeah. I was sitting around doing nothing. I had another business that I sold. So I was just kind of looking forward to a summer of playing music and playing shows, and then COVID hit, so that became impossible. So I was kind of driving my partner crazy, and she was trying to, help me be occupied. But eventually I decided I wanted to do this vodka thing, and something I did not know. And here's a free pro tip for everybody out there. But if you call distilleries and you tell them that you're thinking about, doing a brand, whether it's vodka or whiskey or tequila, they'll send you samples. I literally spent, 6-7 months calling around 40, 50 different distilleries across the US, trying to find the right one to make this vodka. And I would just, they would send me samples, and then I would do blind taste tests, constantly of like all these different vodkas. It was a full-time job just doing that.
Yeah. But again, it's all fitting, but you see how the stories all come together, like about connecting, about the change in the new normal because of the pandemic. You came up with this idea in the pandemic. It's a new way of connecting with people, especially since after the pandemic, we're all looking for new ways to connect and all of that. So it all comes together as part of the story as to who you are, your background, and why this is something that it's changing the way people look at shooting vodka.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it does, because like I've been saying, it's such like a nice, pleasant thing to like sit down with one person or six people or whatever. One thing I really hope I can kind of integrate into the restaurant scene here in Brooklyn is getting tableside vodka. Like a 375 milliliter bottle has about 10 shots or something. So if you're at dinner with like 2, 3, 4 people, having like a little bottle on ice there while you're having dinner is like so nice. And there's a couple of restaurants that do it, but it's very, very far from mainstream. And I think it would be so lovely for restaurants to be able to offer that, like in a nice little ice bucket. Yeah, just like if you're celebrating something cool, or people order like bottles of wine to their table all the time. And like I said, there's a time and a place for that as well. But I would love to be able to bring that into the atmosphere.
And it would have how many shots in it?
So a 375 milliliter bottle would have about 10, 11 shots, something like that. So like 2, 3, 4 people. Right. And then a 750 bottle would have, 23, 24 shots. So that would be for more.
Okay.
5, 6.
Maybe even consider having an even smaller one as well, because that'll definitely make you stand out where it's just
just for like 2 people.
Just for 2 people to be able to shoot. So I mean, on an average night, I guess if I'm out, I'll probably do 2 to 3 shots with someone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go past 3 because after that, like you said, it's an early night.
Yeah.
So maybe a smaller version that has about 4 to 5 or 6 shots in it.
That's a good call. I should look into that. Yeah.
And then now you see this little bottle come. People. I just see people Instagramming it and being so excited. Like, look at this small bottle of vodka that.
Oh, for sure, right? Yeah. Like it would be a special thing. Like in and of itself, it would just be like a special thing to do to like, make a memory about something.
Yes, and be able to pour your little shots and take your shots together and not have that pressure of trying to finish that big. Because I'll be honest, whenever I have to do bottle service at a place, the pressure of to finish that whole bottle.
It's stressful, right? You're so right. You're so right. Yeah.
It's so stressful because it's like you want to buy a bottle, you want to celebrate, but you're like, it's too much liquor. It's just me and you. And so now you got this whole bottle. You got to find all these people that you don't know. And again, we don't have this yet. It's not. So it would be nice to be able to order, to still have that celebration too. I would still like to have the bottles and the people come out with the lights and stuff. And it's just me and my girl, and we still got a little bottle and we still look real cute about it. And we still get the whole vibe behind it without the added pressure.
For sure. Right. Yeah. Who needs that stress? Right. Like everything about this should be appropriate and pleasant and like fit your mood. And absolutely.
Yes, I think that would be
definitely writing that down.
Yes, I think that would be another great experience to kind of incorporate. Just a just a me and you and moi et toi kind of experience where you can just still order your bottle service and shoot it with your friend,
Yeah, that sounds excellent.
Yes, and of course have the little buckets that are branded with your logo and stuff. Of course, it's made custom for that experience and all of that. So I think that would be a great experience to create for people who are not looking to finish a whole bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and you can't take it home. So that's a lot of times like, oh, what am I going to do? So I think that would be a great way to kind of position that, especially in the Brooklyn area. I know there's a lot of little restaurants and things like that who, especially in the new, what's that new area they have? Where's all those little restaurants now in Brooklyn?
Where in Brooklyn? Do you know? Like north, southeast?
Oh, I forget. They have a new name for that area. For the new little hot spots that everybody goes to. It's been a while, but
yeah. There's probably a ton of them.
Yeah, Brooklyn has changed quite a bit.
Yeah. Brooklyn is magic. I love living there.
Yes, Brooklyn's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. So if someone wanted to know more about the vodka and how they can get it themselves or be a part of it, maybe you're looking for investors or maybe will a partner or ambassadors, how do they connect with you to learn more about how to be a part of this brand?
Yeah, I'm for sure looking for brand ambassadors. So if anybody that's listening is interested, please reach out. But our Instagram probably is the best place right now. It's Zakuska Vodka. And yeah, we'll post updates there, and you could reach out and talk to me there. I'm kind of a one-man show for the time being. I have a great PR team and I have a great branding team, but I'm sort of the one running the thing for the time being. So yeah, reach out, come say hi. I can let you know where the vodka is located. Eventually there'll be a website where it'll have a map everywhere that is carrying it. And I'm hoping that it'll be sort of out in circulation, out at stores in the next 60 days or so.
Okay.
It'll be out in the world and born and beautiful and having people enjoying it.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing this amazing experience with me.
Oh, I appreciate you having me.
Of course. And it's definitely going to change the way I look at shooting vodka or anything else, because
I'm happy to hear that.
Right. Now that I'm thinking about the level of connection, because I'm all about connecting with people. So really having that in the back of my mind as it's happening, and really trying to see how, just put more punctuation, like you said, in that moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm going to send you a bottle of this stuff, and maybe we'll do a part 2 after you've had a chance to enjoy it.
Absolutely. I would love that. I would love to have you back to kind of talk about the experience, do a little review.
Right? That'd be
and nice. We can shoot a shot while we're talking.
Oh, that sounds excellent.
I think virtual shots are a movement as well, because a lot of my girlfriends, whenever it's someone's birthday, we do shots all day long. So we'll FaceTime the person and they have to do shots. Every time you call them, they have to do shot. They have to do a shot whenever you call them. And so imagine you have 10, 15 girlfriends calling you on your birthday. Oh my gosh.
And next time it's your birthday, you let me know. I'll send a bottle to you and all your girlfriends.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. It just passed last week. So we got a whole year to go.
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Arthur. I really appreciate the story and hearing more about.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yes, and hearing more about the history of vodka as well. I think that was really awesome to be able to tap into that aspect. So thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Talk to you again.
Yes, absolutely. So once again, everyone, if you're looking to learn more about Zakuska Vodka, you go to Zakuska Vodka on Instagram, and you'll be able to connect with Arthur there and be able to find out more about either being a brand ambassador or about when the vodka is coming out, where you can find it. And maybe even if you're looking to invest, you might be looking for some investors as well. So getting more
I could use a couple,
there. Yes, absolutely. So Zakuska Vodka on Instagram, and we look forward to learning more about your journey and about how you're changing the world one shot at a time.
That sounds lovely. I love that tagline. I hope you don't mind if I take it.
I don't mind. It's all yours.
Thanks very much, Lydia. Really good talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right.
Lydia here. Thank you so much for listening to Leaders on the Rise. If you are a successful CEO, founder, C-suite executive, decision maker, successful business leader, or an influential entrepreneur who would like to be on this podcast, please visit pierrebrandinggroup.com/podcast to apply. If you got something out of this interview you would like to share on social media, just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag #LeadersOnTheRise. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they mean so much to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, pierrebrandinggroup.com, or follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram at Lydia Pierre _. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time.